Hey, One World Entertainment, and James Gunn is talking again, as he always does. He seems to spend more time tweeting or trading, whatever the hell you say for trades, when you're writing on that, than he is actually working on movies and things for DC, like actually announcing a Batman. But he has given a response in regards to Paradise Lost, which of course is the prequel series set in the world of Wonder Woman, that from everything we know won't feature Wonder Woman. Yeah, he answers a question, and to be honest with you, they're making a big deal over this big update about this. There's no actual update, just that they're still working on it. But he answers a few other questions that are more interesting. And of course, they throw in, like, this article is funny because it's like meant to be all about Paradise Lost, and as soon as you get past the part where the fan asks him the question, it goes into him talking about Joker, Folie, Deux, and test screenings. Yeah, figure that one. But here is what this thing says anyway. So it says, we typically only hear from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige at conventions like Comic-Con and D23, or during select press tours for various MCU movies and TV shows. In contrast, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn devotes a fair bit of time to keeping fans up to date across his social media channels. The filmmaker is understandably selective about what he shares, and many fans have grown frustrated with his lack of transparency regarding Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot has claimed she'll return as Diana Prince, something studio insiders denied when contacted by the Hollywood trades. Gunn has declined to chime in, and the new DCU currently finds itself without a Batman or Wonder Woman. Think about that. Think of all the projects he's announced and everything else, and that he's still announcing. And it's 2 years now since James Gunn was brought in as one of the heads for DC Studios, and we still are nowhere near them announcing a Batman. We know the movie is in place. We know he has a director in place. Whether the director sticks around or not, we don't know. But there's no work being done on the script as far as we're aware, because I'm pretty sure Andy Muschietti is working on isn't he a part of the Welcome to Derry series? So there's no script being worked on for that at the moment. There's no casting announcements for that, and I previously did a video that Warner Brothers is getting incredibly frustrated with the lack of Batman news, because they are going, he is the breadwinner for us in this genre. Why the hell are you doing everything to avoid Batman? Get Batman on the screen now. So to say he's kind of not chiming in and holding stuff currently with Batman and Wonder Woman, yeah, it's no wonder people are starting to get pretty pissed off about it. So it says, still, we know DC Studios is developing Paradise Lost, a prequel series set on Themyscira in the same vein as Game of Thrones. What a terrible idea that is as well. Whether Wonder Woman will have a role to play in that and the wider DCU remains to be seen. However, in a response to a fan on trades, Gunn confirmed that work is still progressing on the show. Here is what this whole article was meant to be about. He gives a one-word answer. So the question that was asked from someone was, understandable, any progress on Paradise Lost or Wonder Woman? I can imagine a few drafts being sent in. And his simple response was, yes. That's it. That's your entire update for Paradise Lost. Not, is Wonder Woman going to be in it? Are you even considering Wonder Woman? Not, why do you want it to be like Game of Thrones? Nothing like that. Simply, hey, are you still working on it? And his whole response is, yes. Like, really? That's it? That's the best you could come up with, is to simply say, yeah. Gunn later confirmed that he's a big supporter of test screenings, saying, yes, I use test screenings as a way to make films better. I think they are helpful as long as you aren't a slave to them. They're good for seeing in general what works, what doesn't, and where potential confusions may be. And then he chimed in saying he has no clue whether or not Folie Deux had any test screening. Apparently they didn't. That Todd Phillips absolutely rejected the idea of giving it test screenings for, whatever. Who cares at this stage? This question is one that was... The question itself is a bit okay, and you see where you're going. But he throws in a part which is interesting and something we were all talking about, and Gunn responds to it. So here's the question. It's a bit of a long question, but it says, "Hey, James, first of all, I want to ask you how you're doing and how work is progressing on Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. And then, I know it's still too early to talk about it, but I want to try anyway. I wanted to ask you if, in addition to Creature Commandos, Superman and Peacemaker, are there any other DC projects that you'll be actively working on as a writer and director? Or at least if there's anything specifically that you'd like to be able to work on?" And James Gunn responded saying, "Yes, after I'm further down the road with those, there will be." Now that's all he responded to that question. Which is interesting, seeing he was asked how's progress going on Superman and Peacemaker, and he ignores that completely. But it's interesting that he is clearly wanting to write and direct more the DC stuff, which I think is a bit of a cop-out, to be honest. And this is one of the worries we all had, is like, is he actually going to be in there and just hire people and let them do what they need to do to make these things successful? Or is he going to be going, "Oh, I'll get you to direct it, but I'm writing it," or "I'm writing and directing it"? So there really is no door open for lots of different creatives to come in and work on these things. And then there was just a few other questions about the people that were auditioning for roles and whatnot, and who cares. As for the logline for Paradise Lost, it says, "Set in Themyscira, home of the Amazons and birthplace of Wonder Woman, this drama focuses on the genius and political intrigue of an island of all women." Yeah, and he said, "Let's make it Game of Thrones." Or, what you could do, this might be a wild idea, but bear with me, you could make it like what the comic books are. Huh? Maybe. Just maybe. Maybe you could focus on, hey, here's the stories that describe this place and what we see of this place in these comic books. Proper comic books now, not Tom King shit. The real comic books. And focus on that. And instead they went, "No, we want it to be Game of Thrones in the DCU." Why? What? Not to mention, like, never mind. It's like, why would you want to do that? But do they forget that Game of Thrones in the end shit the bed and people turned against it? Yes, House of the Dragon has restored some of that fate. The end of last season, people got a bit annoyed with that. But at the end of the day, you should be making it a DCU project, not Game of Thrones in the DCU. It's such a bizarre thing to do. I'm sick of everything having to be compared to something else. Oh, we're going to make this like Breaking Bad. Why? Why don't you just make it like something fresh and new? Especially when it's something that already has source material. Like Lord of the Rings. And Rings of Power comes in and goes, "We're going to make it like Game of Thrones and like this and that." And you're like, or you could just make it like Lord of the Rings. You know, Star Trek, "Oh, we're going to make it like Guardians of the Galaxy." Or you could just make it like Star Wars. Or Star Wars? Jesus. You could make it like Star Trek. Yeah, Star Wars even, like, they're trying to make that everything that it isn't. But the fact that it's like, yeah, we're not going to make it like DC or something recognizable. We want it to be like Game of Thrones. Go away with that crap. But we'll see what happens again. 2 years into him in charge, no announcement of a new Batman anytime soon from him. No announcement of Wonder Woman anytime soon. But don't worry, we got Bane and Deathstroke movies announced, and Swamp Thing movies announced, and the Authority movies announced, and Jesus Christ, what else could he announce before we even get the big three, the Trinity on the screen of Superman, Wonder Woman and Batman? Yeah, doesn't look good for the DCU, does it? But with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I catch you in the next one.